Hey everyone, now let's turn our attention to the religion of Zoroastrianism. This is a religion we don't hear very much about, but it's critically important in the development of Western religion especially. And it provides a really interesting link between Western religion and Eastern religion, because the religion of the prophet Zarathustra arises out of the same Vedic faith that that was transplanted to India and that took root there as well. And just as the Vedic faith in India underwent a reformation in the Upanishadic shift, the Vedic faith under under Zarathustra's care underwent a reformation as well, because Zarathustra was a Vedic priest, and he was visited by Ahura Mazda, which means the wise God. And Ahura Mazda gave him a revelation. And that revelation was a little different from the Upanishadic revelation. The Upanishadic revelation says that that there's only one God, and that everything that is a manifestation of that God. But the revelation given to Zarathustra was a little different. Ahura Mazda revealed to him that there was only one God, and that all of the gods that he had been worshiping were not gods at all, but angels. This is where we get our ideas of angels from Zarathustra. He said that all of these personifications of natural forces are not gods, but angels, but they still perform the same functions. So they just have a demotion and a cut and pay, presumably. But nevertheless, they still do the same work. But it was revealed to Zarathustra that not only are there agents of the good, angels, but there are agents of evil as well. Just as there is under Ahura Mazda Spintamayu, the Holy Spirit, and all of the angels that are working on his team or her team. Spintamayu is gender neutral. There is Angramanyu, the evil spirit too, and Angramanyu has demons under his power. And this leads us to our question, what's the problem? Why do human beings suffer? Because we have been born onto a battlefield. The earth is a battlefield where the assembled hosts of angels and the assembled hosts of demons are duking it out for the fate of the world. So the fact that the world is so screwed up isn't our fault. Phew! At least in this religion it isn't. But it is the neighborhood where we live in. And it's a tough neighborhood to live in because it's a war zone. And that's why we suffer. That's why life is hard. Because we are living on a battlefield. So, what do we do about it? Well, the best thing you can do is fight for the right team. And that right team is Ahura Mazda, the wise God, and Spintamayu, the Holy Spirit. So getting on the right team, aligning with Mazda, that's the right thing to do. But how do we do it? What's the means? And the means in Zoroastrianism is through devotion to Ahura Mazda and obedience to the laws that are set out by Zoroastrianism. And a big part of Zoroastrianism, just huge, is moral discernment. So the most famous saying in Zoroastrianism is good thoughts, good words, good deeds. If you saw the movie a couple of years back about Queen. Freddie Mercury is Zoroastrian. He comes from a Zoroastrian family. And you might remember his father in the movie saying to him, "Good thoughts, good words, good deeds." This is a classic Zoroastrian creed. And so I was very pleased to see it find its way into the movie. But it tells us a lot about Zoroastrianism too, because every decision that you make in life is either going to aid Ahura Mazda and the forces of good, or it's going to aid Angra Mainyu and the forces of evil. Even small decisions can have great impact. And so there is in the Zoroastrian religion great emphasis on making careful moral discernments and choosing the right. And so there are discernment techniques within Zoroastrianism to help us with this as well. But this all falls under the category of means. How do we align ourselves with Mazda? Good thoughts, good words, good deeds. It's not always easy to know what those are, so careful discernment is vitally important in this religion. Now, is this an individual or a corporate form of salvation? Well, it's really kind of corporate, because we're, an army is made up of individuals, but it's a team too. So this fighting for the good side that will eventually defeat evil and bring peace and prosperity to the world, to the universe. This is a group effort, so it's really corporate. On the other hand, there's an individual element to it too, because it's incumbent upon every person to make good decisions, to make good moral discernments, and there's individual reward to it as well. If you align with Mazda, then when you die, you will go to heaven. Zoroastrianism is really where all of these ideas come from. They sound very familiar. That's why I said it's such an important part of Western religion, because it has influenced Judaism, Christianity, and Islam to an absolutely incredible degree. All of our ideas about heaven or hell, or there only being one God, or the angels or demons, or the Holy Spirit or Satan, the idea of a Messiah, the idea of a final judgment, of the resurrection of the dead, and of an apocalyptic battle at the end of time. None of these ideas originated with Judaism. All of these ideas originated with Zoroastrianism, and we have inherited them because the Jewish people absorbed these ideas when they were in exile. So a little bit about Zoroastrianism. I can never talk enough about it. It's one of my favorite subjects, and it is a really fun religion to study. But back to this question of soteriology. Why do we suffer? Because we live on a battlefield. And the answer is to make good choices and make sure you're on the right team.